In London in 2012, the 10th Doctor and Rose Tyler set off to see the Olympics, only to find terror in the most ordinary place. Welcome, friends and companions. How are you today? I'm doing great. It's time for a live stream. Yes, 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 yes. And all sort of fans on this channel meet for fun chats about their beloved books, movies, series, and franchises. We also talk about food and drinks, music and sport, and a special place on this channel for Doctor Who. I will watch this show till eternity. Yes, my love for Doctor Who is very deep. I'm very enthusiastic and passionate about Doctor Who, and that is the reason I do live streams about Doctor Who. Yes, random. Because we'll discuss everything involves entertainment, including movies and series, books and music. We don't do politics and religion because these are not entertainment. We want to have fun, laughter, jokes, and humor on this channel. So we do now no in-depth discussions about politics and religion. Yes, very light. Random, because we broadcast on non-fixed times, actually many different times. Also with the Doctor, he travels through time and space in past, present, and future. And in the reason I broadcast on many different times is because we have different time zones in this world. So to serve as much people as possible, I will broadcast on many different times. Because I want to meet. Yeah, actually, I want to meet. Yeah, yes. You. Random. Also, because we have no guests, different guests. It depends what you show me in the live stream or panel. If you want to show me in a live stream, feel free to contact me via YouTube. You can put a comment on one of the YouTube videos, or you can visit and meet me on Discord server. And we look what is possible. And also, it's possible to invite me for your channel. I'm available to contribute also to your channel and to talk about the things we're interested in, what we are liking. And yes, I want to make friends and network. So, available. You are invited. Feel free to invite me. The Discord server is called Random Entertainment Channel Tech Doctor Who on this board. If I'm very big, because I bump the server regularly. So, cheers, man. Have lots of fun. This is your host, Enigmatic Joker. And today we have a 10th Doctor story. David Tennant, yes! And it's called Fear Her. So, and as usual, first some general info. Fear Her was the 11th episode of Series 2 of Doctor Who. The episode saw a return to the year 2012, not seen since Dalek in Series 1. This time focusing on the Olympic Games as a backdrop to the events of the story, which first in the show directly explored the impact of child abuse through the character Chloe Webber. Episode 11 served at its prologue. It also served as one of the few times that the Doctor has been rendered incapacitated in some way and has to leave resolving the conflict to his allies. This theme had previously been used in World War III, The Long Game, and the Christmas Invasion, and would be repeated in Turn Left, albeit in an alternate timeline, the Crimson Horror, Flatline, and the Pyramid at the End of the Worlds. So, and Crimson Horror and is 11 Doctor, Story Mid Mid, and a Flatline, and the Pyramid at the End of the World. That is from the 12th Doctor. Okay. Now let's dive into the plot. Okay. Spoiler alert. I highly recommend you to watch or listen to this story first before listening to this, but otherwise, yeah, listen further. So, plot. Let's go. Two kids, Dale Hicks and Tom are playing football in Tom's yard on the Dame Kelly Holmes close. Elderly Maeve Griffiths walks by and tells them to get inside quickly, prompting Tom's dad to exit the house and demands to know why she's disturbing the kids. Maeve tells the father that it likes seeing them play. Watching from her first floor room across the street is a little girl. She begins drawing Dale with colored pencils. As Maeve and the father keep arguing, Dale suddenly vanishes. Elsewhere, the girl has finished her drawing of Dale, which comes to life and screams in horror. She's trapped him inside her picture. Sometime later, the TARDIS materializes on the day of the opening ceremony of 2012 Olympic Games. On the street, concern is divided between the preparations for the Games, as the torchbearer will pass by on the final leg to the stadium, and the continued disappearance of children. A car breaks down on the street as Rose lends a hand in pushing the vehicle until it restarts and the driver continues on his way. A council worker, Kel, states this has been happening all week. The Doctor, in the meantime, has traced residual energy to the spot Dale vanished. Putting his hand over the spot, he notes it tickles. Tom's father exits the house, hostilely demanding the Doctor explain himself, drawing a crowd and Rose. The Doctor yells for silence and pulls out the psychic paper, introducing himself and Rose as inspectors. After learning from Maeve about an unknown entity at work, the Doctor and Rose investigate. In her room, the girl sees her picture of Dale scowling in anger at her. She tells him that she tried to cheer him up by giving him a friend, a ginger cat. However, he's still unhappy, just like all the other kids in her drawings. After making a mistake in the next drawing, the girl furiously scribbles over it. Wandering down of the neighborhood streets, Rose hears a noise from one of the garages and decides to investigate. As she opens the door, a fuzzy scribble creature flies out, hitting Rose square in the face. Rose swats at it helplessly. The Doctor arrives and deactivates it with the sonic screwdriver. He deduces from the residual energy and the carbon of the scribble that the problem is an alien in origin. Rose tells him about the little girl she saw watching them, and they theorize that she might be connected to the disappearances. The Doctor and Rose pass themselves as representatives of child services to Trish Webber, hoping to be of the help of to her doctor Chloe. Trish explains that Chloe is very much a secluded and quiet child due to her horrible father, who became abusive towards them when he was drunk. Rose heads upstairs to Chloe's room, but finds that she isn't in. Seeing all the scowls from the pictures, Rose checks Chloe's closet. However, this is a poor choice as drawn on the wall is a demonic picture of Chloe's father. When the doctor comes into the room with Trish and Chloe, Rose tells him of the pictures and he decides that he needs to look inside Chloe's subconscious uh, to find answers. The doctor uses his telepathy to send Chloe to sleep, asking that she tell him who she is. Chloe answers in a raspy, whispery voice that she is an Isolus, an alien life form with 4 billion siblings who had befriended Chloe when its ship crossed on the road. It had psychic powers, hence trapped children and a scribble creature. Rose wonders what the Isolus wants, to which the doctor says is a surrogate family. Doctor warns that the Isolus is desperate for love and will use whoever it can to replace its family. The Doctor returns to the TARDIS and locates the Isolus spot in the close. However, a frantic Chloe draws the TARDIS and the Doctor, trapping them both in one of her sketches and forcing Rose to try to find the pot herself. She recognizes that the pot is located in the hottest spot on the street. the pothole that Kel has not long filled up with hot tar. She takes a big axe from Kel's council van and, much to Kel's protestations, digs the pot out of the tar. Meanwhile, Chloe has caused the entire crowd at the Olympic Stadium to disappear and is now set on making everyone in the world disappear. Following a clue the doctor left in the drawing of himself, Rose realizes she needs to offer the pot heat and emotion, which she does by throwing the pot towards the Olympic torch, which is being ran past the street. As the missing children start to reappear, Rose realizes that so will the demon-like drawing that Chloe has made of her father. Rose and Chloe's mother calm Chloe enough to destroy him. However, the doctor does not reappear like everyone else, worrying Rose. Rose, Trish, and Chloe turn on the TV and discover that everyone has reappeared and the opening ceremony is continuing as planned. As the torchbearer approaches the Olympic flame, he staggers and collapses, but the doctor suddenly appears, completes the run, and lights the flame himself. The heat of the flame and the emotion of the crowd power the pot, allowing the isolus to return home. The doctor returns to Dame Kelly Holmes close and reunites with Rose, who remarks that however hard they try, nothing will ever split up the two of them. However, the doctor does not seem so sure. He looks ominously up at the sky and tells Rose that a storm's approaching. And then, my friends and companions, is the end of this story. Fear her. Anonymous cast members. The Doctor is played by David Tennant. Rose Tyler is played by Billy Piper. Trish is played by Nina Sosania. Chloe is played by Abisola Akbaye. Maeve is played by Edna Dorr. Tom's dad is played by Tim Faraday. Kel is played by Abdul Sadis. Driver is played by Richard Nichols. Neighbor is played by Erika Elrian. Police officer is played by Stephen Morcella. And commentator is played by Hugh Edwards. Some world building is from the story about individuals. The first three children taken are Danny Edwards, Jane McKinnon, and Dale Hicks. Their parents, Mr. Edwards, Mrs. Kinnon, and Mrs. Hicks, read them when they're restored. Second thing is that Danny Fairweather carries the Olympic torch through Dame Kelly Holmes Close. Third thing is Lord Coe is mentioned, and the International Olympic Committee is mentioned. About a doctor, the doctor lists 3 things necessary to travel the universe. That is wormhole refractors, a warp drive, and a hand to hold. Yes, very important. People from the real world building. The doctor tries to remember the name of the torchlighter in 1948. Mark. John Mark? It's John Mark. And the second thing is Shane Ward's new album is advertised just next to where the doctor parks the TARDIS. Some world building with music. Trish sings Kokabura to Chloe. And the second thing is that Shane Ward's new album is Shane Ward, The Greatest Hits. In world building with games, says that the doctor claims to be reasonably adept at squash and jokingly mentions snakes and ladders when asked what his game is. Some world building in food. Doctor marvels over edible ball bearings. And when the doctor is in the kitchen with Rose and Trish Webber, he eats orange marmalade. Yes, somebody hungry. Some galactic law. The doctor invokes the shadow proclamation again. About species, the young Aeschylus began their journey in the deep realms. And the second thing in species is that the humanoid cat kind are mentioned, and the doctor cites them as The reason he's no longer a cat person. And last thing in world building, other things, some other things is that Doctor shows that he can do the Vulcan salute from the American sci-fi fiction show Star Trek. Second thing is that a shirt in Glowy Webber's wardrobe features Tweety. A third thing is that Papua New Guinea surprised everyone in the shot put at the 2012 Olympics. We know this to be false, as Papua New Guinea did not even qualify. A fourth thing is that the doctor uses a binary dots tool. Fifth thing is that doctor mentions a copper's hunch. And last thing is that Kel tells Rose that he does not care if Snow White and the seven dwarfs are buried under the tar. And that is all about the story will be. Now some story notes. So the story featured the first instance of a 2D animated segment in the form of drawings made by Chloe, which takes the object or person drawn out from reality and makes them come alive on our paper drawings. Another thing is that this episode was originally lined up for the next season. When a script by Stephen Fry called 1920s fell through, it was hastily moved in to fill the slot. A third thing is that this episode is one of the few stories in the show where there is no true villain. The Isolus was not abducting people out of malice, but simply due to being lonely, wanting a friend. However, it could be argued that the drawing of Chloe's father is considered to be the true main villain of the episode. Another note is that it is his first televised Doctor Who story to deal with an actual child abuse, although there's a possible allusion to the subject in The Empty Child. That's with the Ninth Doctor Christopher Eccleston in the first series. Another thing is that this is the first episode since the Doctor dances to have no casualties at all for the entire runtime. That dances also a Ninth Doctor story with Steph Auguston. Working titles for this episode include Chloe Webber Destroys the Earth and You're a Bad Girl. Chloe Webber, You're a Bad Girl, Chloe Webber, and Rusty Davis rejected both titles for being too long. Um, The mini episode Good as Gold takes place during the 2012 Olympic opening ceremony. However, the circumstances are shown to be clearly different, with an athlete carrying the torch and the weeping angels involved. Um, this story idea of the 10 Doctors' involvement in the 2012 Olympics sparked a petition from thousands of fans over the world wishing David Tennant to carry the Olympic torch. However, it was not Tennant, but Matt Smith who would carry the 2012 Olympic torch in Wales on 26th of May 2012. Neither did the 10th Doctor appear at the official opening ceremony, even though Tennant himself claimed to be up for it, having heard about the petition. Um, In the real world, it was the rower Sir Steve Redgrave who finally delivered the torch to the Olympic Stadium in London and a group of 7 young athletes related to the Olympic flame. However, newsreader Hugh Edwards did provide the commentary on the ceremony, and during one of the elaborate production numbers prior to this, the sound of the TARDIS materializing was also heard. Also, the torch in this episode is at least similar to the actual one. Um, And when Rose and the doctor see the cat, doctor says that he's not really a cat person, making reference to New Earth. In Postman Pat, the movie, David Tennant voices a character who has an allergy to cats, actually. Hmm. Um, Matthew Graham and Russell T Davies were both keen for the narrative to take place in a regular neighborhood, since they were aware that many young fans dreamed of the TARDIS materializing on their street. Yeah, I'm still waiting for the TARDIS to materializing in my street. Haha, yeah, looks like very cool, and I want to travel with a doctor. Um, so there's some story notes for this story. Some things in continuity, because stories and episodes are to some extent related to each other, linked to each other, reference to each other for influence. And yeah, every time I rewatch stories and episodes, I discover new things. And it's all those interpretations, some things in continuity. I have some things. First of all, Doctor materialized the TARDIS facing a wall. In this case, the side of a rubbish bin. The eighth Doctor, Paul McGann, previously materialized facing a wall in a broom cupboard. That is an audio story, The Starship of Theseus. Second thing, the Doctor uses telepathy. We see that in TV story, the censor rights with the first Doctor, William Hartnell, and his granddaughter, Susan Foreman, and Ian and Justin and Barbara Wright. We see it also telepathy in the Terror of the Zygons, and that is with the fourth Doctor, Tom Baker, and Sarah Jane Smith and Harry. Um, we see it also in the hand of Fear. There's also a fourth Doctor story, and then with Zelda, with Sarah Jane Smith and the girl in the fireplace. That's a tenth Doctor story, David Tennant. So it's all the use telepathy in these stories. Telepathic. So another thing is that the Doctor knows the Isolus is lonely due to him having had a lonely childhood and therefore being able to sense it. We see it in TV story The Empty Child. That is, yeah, I already mentioned it. That is the ninth Doctor, and with Rose Tyler and featuring Jack Harkness, Captain Jack Harkness. And also uh, be able to sense it in the girl in the fireplace. And of course, also with the Ten Doctor. So the Doctor previously had a foreboding sensation in his hand during his first incarnation in the War Machines. Um, the Doctor cites his confrontation with the Sisters of Plenitude as the reason why he's no longer a cat person, and that is a reference to UV story New Earth with the Ten Doctor and Rose also. During his 11th incarnation, the Doctor would visit the 2012 Olympic Games once again in the company of Amy Pond. That is in the mini So Good as Gold. He had previously visited 2012 on at least one occasion during or prior to his sixth incarnation in audio story The Raincloud Man, as well as during his seventh an audio Frozen Time, and in the eighth Prose, The Shadows of Avalon, and ninth incarnations TV story Dalek. Um, Another thing, in the far future, radio and television broadcasts concerning the 2012 Olympic Games should be assessed via the Google box inside the moon. And we see that in audio story, The Reaping and the Gathering. When the doctor talks to Chloe about drawings, he says, "I'm rubbish. Stigmas about Stigmen are about my limits." He's apparently lying. He did scaled drawings in a journal of impossible things. And when Joan Redfern asks where he learned to draw, the doctor, as John Smith, says Gallifrey. We see that in TV story Human Nature. Another thing is that the doctor comments that he used to be a bad. Doctor comments that he used to be a dad once. We see that in TV story, an unearthly child at all. In his previous incarnation, he similarly related to Dr. Constantine's remark about having been a father and grandfather in the past. That is in the TV story The Empty Child. The ginger cat that Chloe draws reappears in the video game Art Attack. There he is named Ginger. Another thing, the fifth Doctor, uh, Peter Davison, previously attempted to take Nissa and Tiki Jovenka to the 2012 Olympics, but the daughters instead materialized in London in 1982 in audio story The King of the Dead. And the last thing in continuity is that when Trish turns TV on for her daughter, Big Ben can be seen on the program. It must have been entirely rebuilt after the Sliding family had destroyed 6 years prior. That's the TV story Aliens of London. And that, my friends and companions, is all I have to say about this story. So there are very much links with Ninth Doctor, the Eccleston era. So for now, the commercials. Sci-Fi and fantasy fans and all sort of fans meet on this channel for fun chats about beloved books, movies, franchises, and we also talk about food and drinks, music and sport, and a special place on this channel for Doctor Who. Yeah. Random Cause discuss everything and involves entertainment, including movies and series, books and music. Random Cause will broadcast on non-fixed time, actually many different times. You need to subscribe to this channel to know what time the broadcast is. Random also because we will have no guests, different guests. It depends on what you join me in live stream or panel. If you want to join me in live stream, feel free to contact me via Discord or YouTube. And we look what is possible. And it's also possible to invite me for your channel, also to contribute to your channel and talk about things we are interested in. So feel free also for that to invite me. I'm available. So Discord server is called a Random Entertainment Channel. Tag Doctor Who on Discord. Invite me very quick because I bump the server regularly. So cheers, mate. Have lots of fun. This is your host, Enigmatic Joker. So I'm looking forward to meet you. See you next time. Have a nice day. Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye.